Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Welcome back to the Tom Ferry Show, episode 288. It's 2024, and it's the year of the 5. So I had a great conversation a couple weeks back with my dear friend Steve Harney. You know David Childers, CEO, founder of a little company called Keeping Current Matters. And when we spoke with a couple weeks ago about 4,000 agents on a kind of kick off the new year, maybe you were with us. If you were with us, let me know in the comments. We talked about basically 2024 being the year of the 5. And what does that mean? What does that mean in the U.S.? That means we're expecting interest rates in the 5s, call it June, July of this year. We're also looking at 5.5 million homes sold. That's 11 million units. That is geometrically better than 2023. And we know all the reasons why. We know it's because of the rates. We know it's because of pent-up demand. And you know what? Nothing but opportunity. This is going to be a banner year. So 5% interest rates, 5.5 million individual units sold. And the third part of that is we're expecting about 5% across the board appreciation. Now, I know it's going to be different market by market, but that in and of itself is a very encouraging thing. Now, the reason why I bring this up to you is starting back with the Tom Ferry Show just a few weeks ago, I've been challenging you to say, hey, for things to change, things have to change. So I have a couple questions and a couple insights and a couple recommendations of how you can get even more business from your clients, from your sphere, call it repeat and referral opportunities. So let's unpack that. The first question that we always should start with is, if I was to reflect back on 2023, what was the marketing that worked to get referrals, to get repeat business from my clients in Sphere? And if you haven't taken the time to really explore that, to sit in front of a whiteboard and just list out what are all the things we did, big and small. It's never one thing, my friend. It's always an accumulation of, hey, I did that event. We sent this email. I did the Zillow's estimate thing like you talked about. Thank you very much. By the way, I told you that a couple weeks ago. Have you sent the ZMAs, the Zillow's estimates? And have you sent those emails? And if you have, I want to see it in the comments. And if you haven't, go back a couple of shows where I talk about that strategy. So the first question is, hey, what worked in 2023? The second question really is, and it's not too late to shape your thinking on this, it's where do I want to place my energy, my concentration, my marketing dollars, my time in 2024? So we're several weeks into the new year. You now have enough time to reflect back and say, okay, where did I waste time? What's working? What's not working? Where do I need to double down my efforts to get the kind of results that I want? So today, I want to go just a little bit deeper on your database to set an intention for the year in terms of the number of transactions you can generate from your database. Now, I'm referring to your clients and your sphere, and I will reference also the prospects that are in your phone, but they're different from clients and sphere versus those prospects. So the first thing, if I was sitting with you face-to-face in your office meeting right now or one-on-one with you, I would say, hey, grab your phone and tell me exactly how many contacts you have inside your phone. Grab your phone and tell me exactly how many contacts you have inside your phone. And again, to the best of your ability, you want to separate clients, people I've helped buy and sell, and sphere, like people that know me and like me and trust me, and I just haven't done a transaction, maybe they referred me, versus the prospects. And here's why. We talked about this before. We said it's the year of the 5, but it's also the year where 5% of the people in your phone, listen up, 5% of the people that are in your phone are going to put their home on the market this year. Now, there's a lot of reasons why. We see as rates come down, more and more people are saying, well, I can now move from rate X and I can comfortably move into rate Y. And whether that delta of the difference between their current rate and the next rate is 150 basis points, 100 basis points, or 200 basis points, what we are seeing, what everybody is predicting for 2024 is a massive unlock of inventory from people that are like, I'm tired of this house. I'm dealing with all the D's that would drive me to ultimately make a decision to move, to buy and sell again, and the rates no longer apply. They're not the driving force behind my decision.
Marketing is ever evolving, and with the emergence of AI, the rate of change is faster than ever. Adapt quickly to AI-driven marketing strategies or risk falling behind. This is precisely why we've created the AI Marketing Academy, a 4-week virtual intensive tailored to integrate AI seamlessly into your marketing strategy. You'll start with unraveling the basics of AI, then you'll get to grips with essential AI tools. And Finally, you'll learn how to incorporate these tools into effective real-world marketing tactics. Space is limited. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the future.
So back to the question, right? How many people do I have inside my phone? And if I had 5% of them, 5% of my sphere, and 5% of my clients transact with me this year, what number would that be? So again, how many people do you have in your phone? How many of those are your clients in sphere? 5% of that number is going to list their house this year. So let's just say you had 500 people inside your phone, right? For easy math, that's 25 people that are going to make a move this year. Now, with 500 people inside your phone that are your clients in sphere, you've got to get through 500 to identify who are the 25. Now, by the way, you might have 30, you might have 35. It's one of those years. There's so much pent up demand from last year. Like, be okay with that. But what am I really asking you to do? The first thing I'm asking you to do is write down that number. Somewhere inside your office, somewhere at your home office, you need to acknowledge that you've got this wonderful database of clients in sphere before your prospects, and 5% of them are going to move this year. And we know whoever gets closest to the client wins. This is why a couple of years ago, I'm like, send the Zillow's estimate, send out those emails. Let's activate who's ready. Let's stay on the forefront of their mind so you are the obvious choice. So you got the total number of people in your phone. You now have a number that you should be fixated on. Hey, I got 275 people or 300 people or 100 people, whatever the number is. We know that 5% of them are going to do a direct transaction with you, a repeat transaction with you. And then we want to look at the other side, which is that same number using 500 again. What percentage should I expect of referrals from that group in 2024? Well, what if I told you most of my best clients say, well, I'm going to stay with 5%. So again, I've got 500 people, sphere, plus clients. That's another 25 referrals that I should close this year. That's 50 transactions just from my database of clients in sphere before my prospects. I would encourage you to write down that number. Now, just to cover the prospects in your phone, I think it'd be pretty safe for you to say, let's say I've got 1,000 people. And again, these are just, I'm making up numbers here. I've got 1,000 people in my phone. 500 of them are clients in sphere, and 500 are like Larry, 310-555-1212. I have no idea who Larry is. Well, what I would encourage you to do is take the balance of that number, if you're willing to call and to text and to do Zillow's estimates and emails and communicate and invite them to events. I think it's pretty safe to say 1% conversion. 1% conversion, because there's a pretty good chance if you have someone named Sally in your phone and a phone number and no email and no mailing address, there's a pretty good chance that Sally has like 13 other friends that are real estate agents. So I say count on a 1% conversion. So now I know I've got a few more transactions from that other side, that other 500. And I'm going to write down that number and say, that's my goal if I'm willing to do the work. Now, here's what you and I both know. In the US, we got an election cycle going on. We got rate cuts. We got massive pent-up demand, and we do not have enough inventory. So with all these things happening, what is the single question you're going to get asked over and over and over again? We've covered it hundreds of times on the Tom Ferry Show. You know what it is. Hey, you're in real estate. How's the market? Well, today I don't want to talk to you about a script, though one of my most famous Tom Ferry shows was the script that I wrote almost 12 or 13 years ago. Hey, it depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, invest, or rent? Which part of the market are you interested in? And then you would discover more from there, right? Because you're trying to narrow the focus. Well, instead today, I want you to think about the person that's asking that question. So I started doing some surveys, and I know my friends at 1000 Watt have done surveys and NAR has done surveys. And guess what? What I discovered is there's three primary reasons why people are asking you, how's the market? Now, don't be shocked. They're not looking for you to be Bloomberg. They're not looking you to say, well, the 10-year treasury is currently at, and this is what's happening. There's a percentage of people want that. For the most part, when someone's like, hey, you're in real estate, how's the market? What's going on? Like, they want to know one of three things. Number one, write this down in your notes. They want to know, is my equity safe? Is my equity safe? Now think about it. Coming out of the global, meltdown of real estate back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, any hiccup in the economy, any adjustment of the economy. Remember during the pandemic, everyone's like, oh my God, real estate prices are going to go down. The whole world's going to fall apart. That wound emotionally is still so real for people, 2007, 8, 9, 10, that I wasn't shocked as people would say, hey, Ferry, how's the market? I'm like, hey, what are you really looking, what are you trying to get to? Like what part of the market? What are you thinking about? Why are you really asking? And then at the end of the day, they would say, well, the second thing, our home value is going to go up or down this year. That's the second thing everybody wanted to know. And I'm like, oh, they want to know, is their equity safe? Is home values, are they going up or are they going down? Are they going to be flat? What's going to happen? And then the third one that I thought was really interesting, and obviously when I say it to you, you're going to say that is a segment of the population that's thinking about this, right? But I would argue it's everybody, but it was I certainly heard it more, I would say, from the sort of mid to late boomers and the matures, right? The silent seniors. And that was, how is this economy, how is this market going to impact my future plans? I was at lunch in Seattle a couple of weeks ago with a pal of mine, and he's 72 years old. And when I was sharing this information, he said to me afterwards at lunch, he said, it's so true. He says, Tom, every time I look at like my equity, I think, okay, well, when I'm gone, or maybe I refinance and pull some cash out, like this is going to go to helping my son buy a house, and this is going to help my daughter buy a house, and this is going to help, maybe grandkids one day go to college. Like that's how he's visualizing his equity. So I don't want to give you a script today. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to have tremendous empathy for the person that's asking. I want you to have the humility to be able to say, tell me what you're really looking for. So when they say, how's the market? I can go a million different directions. Tell me what you're really looking for. Well, just like, is everything going to be okay? Like that's what I got a lot from people. Is my equity safe? Home prices going up or down? And how is this going to impact my future plans? I promise you, when you do that, you're going to get an unbelievably positive response. Now, as we get near wrapping this up, I know you now have a number, right? I've got X amount of people that I'm going to, get repeat business from my sphere. They're going to refer me X amount of business. My clients are going to refer me X amount of business. There's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity. So the question now becomes, what do I do? So I'm not going to be super prescriptive with you. Instead, I'm going to assume you already have some time allotted to reach out via text and call and personal emails, right, to your entire database. Well, whatever you're currently scheduled to do, my advice to you is front load all of it to the first half of the year. I can already see you. Oh my goodness, front load all of it. I was gonna prospect an hour a day, or I was gonna do 3 events for my clients, one in the summer, one in the fall, and one in the winter as a thing that I do every year. And my response is, do those 3, but do 3 more in the first half of the year. Whoever gets in front of their clients in their sphere and their prospects the most in the first half of 2024, what's going to happen? Think about it like this. If you look at the little diagram I'm giving you here, as rates slowly begin to drop, if your marketing and lead generation isn't cresting high, going high and right, ready for when the rates drop, what's going to happen? You're going to be behind the 8 ball. And I just think coming off last year, the last thing you or any smart agent would want to do is intentionally put themselves behind the 8 ball. Now, before you say to me, Tom, I'm already busy. Remember, we talked last week about if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. Maybe, just as this is the year of the 5, maybe this is also the year where you take control of your time, where you take control of your destiny. You take control of what's going on every single day to build your business, because the opportunities are there. The opportunities are there, but if you don't get after it, if you don't make the adjustments, if you don't acknowledge that 5% of repeat and referral and that 5% opportunity of people to refer you more business, if you don't acknowledge that, there's a pretty good chance you're going to miss the opportunity. And that would be a shame. It would be a shame to come off 2023 and have the streets essentially paved with gold in 2024 and intentionally miss it because you were unwilling to do the work. Does that make sense? Now, you might be like, oh, Tom, getting a little tough on me. It's called carefrontation. I care enough to confront you on the obvious. The buyers and sellers will find an agent. Let's just not have those buyers and sellers be people that are already inside your phone. All right. I can't wait to read your comments. You know at least 2 people you need to forward this to. Thank you so much for watching today. Remember, always your strategy matters, and now more than ever, front loading all of your marketing. That's what rules the day. See you on the next show. Hey, if you like this content, make sure you get back to my channel and check out Jason Pantana, This Week in Marketing, Tom Ferry Podcast Experience, and of course, Mindset Monday.